Welcome to the Spearo Hangout, where we talk all things spearfishing, freediving and foraging. We're three guys from Devon in the UK who are excited to share some of the learnings from our spearfishing journey with you over the coming episodes. We bring in some special guests along the way to help spread some in-depth Spearo knowledge from some of the most experienced people in the scene. Hey boys, nice to see you again.
Hey.
Hello.
You all right?
Good.
Yeah, we're back, man. We're back with a vengeance.
Well, I hope so.
I'll say that till next week.
A few complaints. Yeah. It's hard work, isn't it? Trying to organise everything, trying to get guests on and stuff like that.
Honestly, the amount of work I put in, I don't know how I cope.
No,
you did edit that one podcast, I think.
Yeah, that one with a whistle and barks and shit.
I did two, actually.
Oh,
the second one, you had to go at me about it, and that's why I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
Oh, yeah, the one where big sections of audio missing.
Horrendous. Yeah, that one was pretty bad, to be fair.
Sorry, everybody listening.
I was always told that if you don't want to do something, do it really crap the first time, and they won't offer again. They won't ask again.
That's right, and we won't be asking again.
I won't be asking to do anything again, especially not make a ras ceviche.
Oh, actually, I was about to say that's the one thing I will ask you to make again. We had a bit of a barbecue over the weekend. Had these guys round mine, and you made your ceviche, didn't you? And we loved it. Well, I did.
Yeah,
What about you, Rich?
To be fair, I'm winding him up. It was bloody amazing. That was That was by far the best rice I've ever had, and I will be making it again.
Yeah, I think it was one of my favourite fish dishes, actually, from the UK. I was really impressed. So, yeah, nice one, mate.
I wouldn't go that far, but it was good. Top three.
What did I tell you to after I made it? I said, please don't tell anybody about it because I don't want everyone shooting the fucking wrasse. It was rubbish. It was horrible. Leave my wrasse alone.
It was cracking. Interestingly, Dan Mann also did a video, didn't he, a few weeks ago about shooting the same thing. So I suspect it might be slightly more slim pickings this year.
Well, when we went out on Saturday, excuse me while I'm like halfway in between some garlic mushrooms. This week has been crazy with the kids. Dan Mann's video since then, the amount of people I've seen on social media putting wrasse like catches up that I know that in the past they wouldn't have shot them. And it's like, following the social media. But no,
I think it's, I would say, like, from a competitions point of view, where, wrasse are on the score sheet, I think that's a really good thing because people are kind of more clued into how to use all the fish now.
As opposed to shooting them just for points. You're shooting them and actually going to, maybe even try them this year, which is good.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, after trying your wrasse ceviche, I did think actually at the next BSA National, which we're hosting, if anyone does leave a wrasse in the bin box, I'm definitely taking one.
Absolutely. When is that, Rich?
11th of June. So I'm not actually competing that one because I've offered to do the safety, shore safety side of it. So
that's the Dorset comp, isn't it?
That's a Dorset National, 11th of June. So so I'm getting first dibs at the bin box, and I think I'll be taking the wrasse.
And as a little tip, for those of you that might struggle with scaling wrasse, boiling water is your friend. Very, very quickly, boil a kettle, put the wrasse over the sink, still with the scales on, and just pour the boiling water from the mouth down to the tail, and you'll see the scales quickly change colour. Don't do it for too long, though. If they start curling up, you've done it for too long, you've cooked the skin, and it will be difficult to skin. But otherwise, just quickly flash boiling water over it, and the scales, you literally be able to wipe them off with your hand.
Nice. I think there's a whole perception change there, isn't there? Like, as you guys are saying, about people learning how to utilize catchers, especially in the UK. And obviously social media is massive, been massively helpful in that regards. But also, I guess people's perceptions of whether they shoot wrasse or not, we shoot flatfish, we take scallops, we take everything else. I know it's not sort of comparable in terms of like mating cycles, but I do get people's points and opinions. I mean, I just think if it's legal and you're going to eat it, that's fine by me.
That's the biggest thing. If you're going to eat it, then fine. But if you're at a competition and you know that you're not going to eat a specific fish, be it wrasse, be it anything, it can be jellyfish, whatever you want. But if you're going to shoot a wrasse, do something with it, or make sure it's going to a home that is going to get used. But yeah, I'm glad that the only thing that I've brought to your spearfishing lives is my ceviche. I'm happy now.
Witty sense of humour. Yeah.
Ryan told off for that.
So who we got on tonight, lads?
Well, we've got two knobheads that have been away, and we've got lots of stories for us.
Tony and Sam aren't on. Love you, Tony. Love you, Sam.
That last podcast has done all right, actually. I mean, I think everyone's who listens to us on the regular, was waiting for it to drop. To be fair, it's been a while. It's been 6 weeks. So that last one, you guys have been bloody nutters. Like, I was looking at the stats, and it's been crazy the last 2 days 3 days since I dropped it. We're trying to post regularly, but obviously we have lives and we like to go spearfishing ourselves. So we'll do our best as we can, basically.
Yeah,
good stuff. So as we were saying, we thought we'd bring you a just us three week because I've been away to Australia, Ant's been away to Tenerife, and Richard shot a bass. And that's basically what we're going to talk about tonight. Rich, do you want to kick us off?
Oh yeah, mate. Well, why not?
Hang on. Have we got 45 minutes for this?
You can speak. People in glass houses.
What a fucking knobhead. Yeah, the one who talks the most. Oh, why don't we get some experts in? I know. I'll just talk the whole time so the experts don't talk. Anyway.
I don't know why you needed to get experts on.
Move it on. I had my first bass of the year. Not the most momentous occasion, but nonetheless, it feels like it's kicking the season off nicely. So
well done.
First bass, a spider crab, and they went down a bloody treat on the barbecue. So
lovely. Was that Dorset, Devon, Cornwall?
It was Dorset, and it was the first time actually being in the water, and there was like a big bait ball and like fish smashing in, birds and all around me. It was actually really cool. Wish I had my GoPro with me. But yeah, it was Dorset, and then I went out with you lads, didn't we, at the weekend?
Yeah.
Bloody Devon, and it was dead as anything.
Well, I disagree.
Only around you. As soon as you got out of the water, all the fish turned up.
Well, all the
very
fish.
Much like that.
One flounder, and what else did you get? A wrasse. I mean,
I got
did all right,
three wrasse. I got a pollock that was definitely nearly the same size as Ben's.
Nearly.
And you two are taking the piss, but we've now figured out that actually any fish that I hold up, and this will tie into a story later on, any fish I hold up, be it in the water or whatever, look considerably smaller than they actually are because I'm huge.
Whereas mine
looks considerably bigger because you're micro.
That's not a bad problem to have, to be fair.
We'll just have to
scenario. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, if my penis was on you, it would look huge.
Yeah, but you did send us a picture, didn't you?
Yeah. It's only penis.
Small. Yeah.
That was, I had to do the editing. I know, I'm sorry. But I had to make sure that none of my penis was on show. And it's not my fault.
I feel sorry for that. I feel sorry for that octopus, man. Like, God knows what he's doing to it.
I keep saying it's the missus that I like. I like tentacles, but...
Oh, God.
Anyway. So wrong. So you went to Tenerife and you that was where you sent us a picture from, wasn't it? With your octopus. What else did you get up to out there? Actually, let's why don't we rewind a little bit, because I think
I was going to say you go first.
Well, it doesn't matter who goes first. I can go first if you want to, but I thought it might be interesting to talk about like the whole journey, because before I went away to Australia, I had no idea how to get my gear out there. So perhaps we could start there. How did you get out there? And
I'm interested to hear Anthony's golf bag story.
The gear getting out there wasn't that bad. The gear coming back, that's another story.
Okay.
So it's actually Sugar Daddy lent me, aka everybody knows now, David Callahan, lent me one of his like soft-sided and hard-backed golf bags. And so I packed all my gear in there. I flew with EasyJet, or we flew with EasyJet. So I just paid the, whatever it was, 40 quid each way for a sports bag, which allows you 20 kilos. And you're allowed pretty much all sort of things as long as you declare it as a sports bag. You're even allowed firearms and live ammunition.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, with EasyJet, it was absolutely perfectly fine. Before we left, I weighed the bag and it was like 3 kilos over. So I took my weight belt out, put that in my backpack, my rucksack, my carry-on, and flying out, absolutely fine. Got just checked the bag in, no problems whatsoever. I don't know whether it's because obviously it's sporting gear, whether it was in a golf bag and they just scanned it and saw some metal-y stuff, but yeah, no problems whatsoever. What about you?
Yeah, so we flew, who did we fly? Qantas on the way there. So we went to Brisbane, flying out from Heathrow. And I didn't pack a gun because I knew that the Viz was going to be a little bit better than we used to back here. And the 75/90 is just a little bit too short. So I just packed my fins, wetsuit, dive belt, but with much less weight than I'd normally take because I knew I was going to get a wetsuit out there. And I've just packed it in that, like those fin bags, like the soft fin bags that you get from the spearfishing shops that, you know, carry my gear around sometimes in the car. Just packed it in there and just like did all the straps up, put like locks and stuff on it. And just went through the normal luggage thing like straight away. Didn't even make me take it to the what do you call it? Oversized luggage thing. And just really straightforward, no problem at all. Picked up at the other end, all like in really good nick. For me as well, coming back was another story. But yeah, we can. Well, what happened to yours on the way back?
Well, two things. First of all, so when we got to the airport in Tenerife, we rented a car. We went and put the car back with the Europe car. Who was fantastic service, by the way. I mean, I paid for the additional cover so that it was like a smaller deposit, like only €100 deposit, full damage waiver. So it didn't matter what damage was on the car when I picked it up, and it didn't matter what damage was on the car when I dropped it off. There was none extra because I can drive. But we did like 1,200 miles in it. Anyway, dropped the car back, got into the airport, and we were like an hour and a half before check-in. So we sat around and then spoke to somebody and found out that actually the check-in was completely the opposite end of the airport, a solid 10-minute walk carrying, 50 kilos of stuff. But in my bag, as I left from Gatwick, I was told, don't put your weight belt in the sports bag, put it in your hand luggage. And so I did, in my rucksack, exactly the same as we left. Checked in the sports bag, stuck it on the conveyor, waved it goodbye, went through security, was met with some very angry Spanish, Canarian, Tenerife ladies and men with guns who said, no, you're not bringing 7 kilos of lead in because we think that you're going to swing and hit people with it. So it had already been quite a hot day. And so I was quite sort of short-tempered and started effing and jeffing and saying that, how come the English can do it right? And we were told to do it this way, but you guys, your communication shit. So anyway, had to go at them and then had to go and check in with EasyJet, my then rucksack, my hand luggage. Luckily, nothing happened to it between Tenerife and home. So thank you, EasyJet, for letting me get that on for free. They didn't charge me for it. I think they understood out in Tenerife that security make their mind up for what's allowed in the airport on the plane. But also, which again will tie into a story that we'll get into on the holiday later, I packed the head and tail of my Wahoo into my sports bag and got it back home. Absolutely fine. No declarations needed. And I've now got a Wahoo head and tail in the freezer. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. You didn't bring that to the barbecue.
No, you wouldn't have wanted it there. It smells worse than I do.
I don't believe that.
What was your trouble on the way back?
They lost my luggage, the whole bag. So
what?
We were we flew back Emirates on the way. It's like a sister airline or whatever. So we flew back into Heathrow. And I was just waiting there for ages thinking, it'll be on the next thing. That's probably the last thing that they take off or whatever. It just never arrived. Anyway, went to the the luggage desk that they've got there, and they said, "Oh yeah, there was one baggage that didn't make it onto the plane at Dubai." It's like, oh, great, yeah, nice one. Yeah, and it was mine, and because it was quite nice, like flat calm weather when we got back. I was itching to get back in, and I couldn't, so I had to don a load of old gear for a dive when I got back home, like plastic fins and like old weight belt and like stuff that I hadn't dived in for a couple of years, which was weird. But yeah, it didn't come back for another week. At one point, I thought I was going to have to go in and rebuy everything, but yeah, I got there eventually, all in one piece. But it was really annoying because you wait there for like half an hour, probably even longer, like for your bags to arrive, and then nothing happens. There we go. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you could have done either. Like, I don't think it's just one of those things, like whether it was, I don't know, they needed to do some extra checks on it or something.
So during all of that, did you look into things like if your bag was completely lost? Is there like insurance, or what happens if someone goes out there and your bag is just lost?
Yeah, like it's a little bit unclear. So the baggage, so the airlines would have to pay you for the baggage, but it's not necessarily like a one-for-one replacement. So you can go out and buy things like essentials like underwear and socks or whatever if your luggage doesn't arrive with you on holiday, and you can recoup the cost from them. But it's like different rules for different airlines, and you're not necessarily covered. You're definitely not covered for things like dive gear or whatever. And you're definitely not covered on the way back either. So it's pretty limited, to be honest. And I think the whole like process, if I needed to buy anything new, would have taken, it's like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks for the whole process to go through before I'm allowed to like rebuy anything and claim it back. And like if they damage your luggage, you don't get like the full cost of the stuff back. It's like a percentage. So it's not great. You just got to kind of
See, I just beggars belief in this day and age. It's like you give them your luggage, you trust them with your luggage, and they have one fucking job. Like,
what's interesting, mate, is I think is it America or Canada have much better rules, so that if they lose your luggage and you're either flying in or out of America, I think it's Canada, you can just go and buy the stuff. So we had some family members that were flying from, it was Canada or maybe via America into Brisbane too, and their airline had lost their luggage. They just went out and bought loads of new stuff and just like claimed it back off the airline. Then their luggage arrived, so they had like double, and they had to buy an extra suitcase for the way back on the return journey. But like it's
but they got double the gear. They did get
because they flew in, I think, via America, and America has much better rules. So there you go. Interesting.
Get on, Americans. One of the things that you are doing right. Well done.
Yeah.
That's just pissed off all of American listeners. Great. Never mind. So yeah.
Nice. So Ben, how many times did you get out in Australia?
So I was as I said, I didn't take a spear gun out there. Part of the reason was that I knew it wasn't going to be big enough anyway. The other part of the reason was I was shit scared to go by myself because of the sharks, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. But also because I just wanted to go freediving out there. I just wanted to kind of experience 20, 30 meters viz. I just wanted to see all the different fishes and wildlife out there. And I did manage to do that a couple of times. So I think I did one spearfishing trip with Tim McDonald. I did one like arranged freediving trip, and I did a couple like snorkel sessions by myself. So not like a huge amount, but I tell you what, it was incredible. And like I'm gutted that I couldn't do more out there. There's definitely some unfinished business. Yeah, so I managed to get out with Tim McDonald and his friend Andrew. Nice. And the caliber of those divers is just off the chart. They are insanely good. And I've just never seen like ground or experienced a trip like that. Never seen fish like it. Never seen fish the size of it. It was literally incredible. So we set off. So we arranged a pickup from the Airbnb we were staying at and drove down to the boat ramp. And he's got a Haynes Hunter boat. I think it's like a 5 or 6 meters, so not massive. We headed out across the sandbar. Sandbars are a new thing. I've not been through a sandbar before. That was a bit of fun through the rolling waves. Got more exciting on the way back. And in pitch black. But we set off there and we headed out. Obviously, I won't give away any spots, but it was between Brisbane and Moreton Island area. And did first dive, beautifully clear, loads of fish around, came back up again. 3-minute breathe up, straight down. Our target was what they call cod out there, or it's basically grouper. And came up with a 5 or 6 kilogram, not a huge grouper. I say it's not huge. This was the biggest fish that I've ever shot, and I'd been underneath the water for all of 2 minutes. It was also the deepest I've ever dove. So that dive, when I shot it, was I think it was at 16 meters. So it's the deepest fish I'd ever speared.
Nice.
And like I say, that was my second dive. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And we did a bit more diving around there. I had a blue tusk fish. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. I guess it's probably all over YouTube. But it ripped off, absolutely gutted. Tim was on the scene, and he also shot it, and it came off there. So it's horrible when that happens.
Same fish?
The same fish. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. And it was like a really good shot as well. I thought it was a good shot. I don't know. It probably wasn't, but that was a really disappointing part of the day because that fish has been something that I've wanted to try for a very long time. But thankfully, very grateful to Tim for letting me have one of his for dinner that night. So yeah, all was not lost by any stretch of imagination. And then we moved on to a different spot, and we were still targeting grouper. So Tim was having a bit of a gathering. It was the Easter weekend, so he was having a lot of people from his church round. And we went to shoot cod. And then this dive, I shot what I thought was a fish around the same kind of size, like the 5 to 6 kilogram that I shot before, that may be a little bit bigger. Anyway, I shot it, and the gun was nearly yanked out of my hand. Now, these guns are completely different to anything I've ever speared before. I don't know exactly what size they are, but I would guess at 120, something like that. Like Rife guns, so big solid wooden timber blocks. Impossible to load. I think it took me about 10 minutes to load it. You should have seen me. In fact, I've got footage because I accidentally left the GoPro running of me faffing around with these double wrapped 100 and whatever it is, 50-meter spears, trying to get it in the slot. But I shot this fish I thought was about maybe 8 kilograms, something like that. That managed to hole up. Like I say, it nearly yanked the gun out of my hands as I was on the way up. Real gun, completely new experience to me. Tim went down, got a second shot in it. That still wasn't good enough. We had to put 3 shots in this fish.
3 shots.
3 shots. Yeah. I swam. I got back on the boat, and I think there might have been some boat traffic that was imminently about to hit us as well at this moment. So there was a lot of kind of jeopardy in this massive fish attached to 3 very expensive guns.
Do you not think about just asking it nicely?
Well, yeah, we certainly did. There was a few swear words going around, and so we put a 3rd shot in it. Managed to Tim. I mean, like I say, he's an amazing guy. He, I think he had to cut one line, swim through some hole to get this fish out. I think I've got it on footage. What he did, he managed to get the fish into the boat, and it was just short of 120 centimeters. 120 centimeters is the limit there in Queensland. And I think it was 35 odd kilograms. So what's that? 70 plus. It was. I mean, it was. When I say the fish of a lifetime, now I'm not. The part of me is felt a little bit guilty because it was a lot bigger than I intended to shoot, and I'm not really I don't want to be a trophy hunter kind of spearfisher. That's not really me. I do it for food and to be in the environment. But I mean, it was a special fish, and I can understand the adrenaline rush that trophy hunters go through having done that. It was certainly a really exciting time. Would I shoot another fish that size? I don't think I would. Because I did feel genuine guilt afterwards. Is that weird? Have you guys ever felt that kind of thing?
Nope.
I'd say
Okay.
I felt that with the soft shell lobster that I damn near grabbed straight through. So I get what you mean.
You know what I mean? And look, I haven't put that second bigger fish on social media because I can imagine people giving me a lot of hate for it.
But
and justifiably so.
To Tim and his gathering, didn't
you? Yeah. It was too big for us, and Tim took it back for the gathering, and that was the plan, for the group. But it's not like it was, being chucked in the discard bin or anything remotely like that. I just felt a little bit guilty, and I can't. There's lots of kind of factors to that. It's quite, the big ones are the breeders, right, and all that kind of stuff. But I do it for.
Did you eat some?
No, I didn't, because Tim took it back for the gathering, and I.
Did you eat any of the smaller one?
Yeah, I swapped it for the Tusky that I said about, and also a mangrove jack, which I have to be honest. I mean, they're both absolutely incredible.
Couple of questions then. Does Tim think that one that you shot is like a fish of a lifetime for that area?
I mean, yeah. So there were 3 of us on the boat, and we were all pretty excited about it. Like, I think I sent you guys the footage, didn't I?
Yeah.
He was really excited for me, and like he knew that. I think he knew that there was
that big.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, I mean, like these guys have been fishing for a very long time. They haven't had many in the boat that big, I don't think.
Okay.
I think, like, for that particular species, I think it'd be unusual to get that one big. I mean, I don't know that for sure. I didn't ask him. It's not like a.
And why did you think it was only 8 kilos?
So out there, the Viz was probably up to. So I've got footage of Andrew and Tim going down to 30, 40 meters, and you can almost see them all. So you can see them leveling out at that. The Viz is just like off the chart here, and it's very, very difficult to kind of judge sizes. You get it over here sometimes. So like I find pollock really difficult to size up. I don't know about you guys. I think there's something about the jaw possibly that really allows you to see if it's a big one or not. But like I've been down. Oh, I'll tell you what. When in Felston, where there was no fish, Rich, and I couldn't. There was this one that I thought, it's absolutely massive, that one, and I dove down, and actually it was like a very average size, 2-pounder. So I find those quite difficult to size up, and it was quite good Viz down there, and I think that's probably what makes it harder. Like things. Because you're kind of you're compensating, aren't you? You're trying to work it out, and the angles aren't quite right out, and you've got your mask on, and I think it's just difficult to size up. Yeah. It was also a lot. So basically, it was a lot further away than I thought it was. It's a short story. In fact, I think Tim said if I'd have just taken like a couple more kicks forward, would have possibly got a slightly better holding shot, and wouldn't have had to stick 3 spears in. I think that the shot placement was okay in the end, and whatever. But it was a hell of an adventure, and the adventure didn't like stop at that point. That was just like something that obviously fish of a lifetime really sticks out. We went to some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, like insanely beautiful. You think of like the Great Barrier Reef as being like beautifully colourful and all that kind of stuff. We weren't on the Great Barrier Reef, but it felt like it in places there, like beautiful corals, amazing fishes. Some of the coolest things were like these, what do you call them? The funny name for a collection of rays. Anyway, these eagle rays, which are by far my most favourite thing that I saw out there, just like gracefully gliding on through the like 30 meters of Viz, and it was just like, you just wanted to pinch yourself. But it was also like really, really like challenging for me personally. So like obviously like shooting the fish and stuff is challenging in itself, but we were out in some what I thought were pretty crazy seas, to be honest. Like I felt really seasick. I've never felt seasick before, like I did that day. Like that was crazy. And then on the way back in, it took us like an hour and a half from where we were spearfishing to get back into the harbour dot whatever. And by that point, it was dark. And going through, so we arrived, I don't know what it was, like 300 meters from the harbour. And then you can hear like crashing waves all around you. It's pitch black. The boat's got no lights, pitch black. These like big waves all crashing all around you. And Tim looks around and he goes, I don't know if we can get through here, boys. I don't know what we're going to do. Like, stood off the shore for, I don't know, it felt like a very long time, but at least 10 minutes, just looking at each other going, what the hell do we do? Do we like camp out here? Do we like try and find somewhere further up the shore where it's a little bit more sheltered? Anyway, we went in the end, just said we're going to have to chance it. But yeah, that was another moment of jeopardy. So when I got back in, I was just like, I just crashed. I was like so knackered. It was just the most epic day. Yeah. Incredible.
That sounds insane, man. Would you, so with the guilt that you feel or felt or whatever you want to call it, would you, if you saw like, I don't know, let's say a 14-pound bass or something monstrous in the UK, would you shoot it?
I think I probably would, mate. I think most people probably would. I think it's very difficult in the moment to judge the size, like I was saying, but also like have the foresight to think, oh no, because then they're going to feel guilty because it's a big breeder and all that kind of stuff. The chances of us ever seeing a 14-pound bass, or certainly me seeing a 14-pound bass, are pretty slim anyway. I thought
it'd be interesting to get your
it's a good point. And look, I do I care very much about conservation, and if there was like a certain species or something like that was specifically under threat, then absolutely you'd be much more mindful. But for me, I see quite a lot of bass. I don't see them as a species under threat. They're, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think reasonably fast growing, especially compared to like wrasse and mullet and species like that. So although, yeah, same thing, the big bass of the breeds and stuff like that. I don't, and maybe, it's the same argument with this cod that I shot. They're not specifically under threat in the same way as some other species, for example. And there's part of me that wants to shoot a fish to show people the fish in a way. Like maybe if I had my GoPro, I wouldn't, because then I could still show. Is that a weird thing to say? That makes me feel guilty just saying that. But do you know what I mean? Like there's some part of me that wants to go, hey guys, look, this thing was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I definitely would shoot it. And my opinion is very simple, like just very plain and simple. Like if it's legal and I'm going to eat it, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it is simple. I think.
Well, my thought process on
the thought process is simple.
Yeah,
I think it's quite a complicated thing because there's lots of different factors. Like for example, big lobster. Would you take a big lobster?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would.
The bigger, the better.
Big female lobster?
As long as she's not buried.
Yeah.
If she's not buried, the thing is that there's, and I've heard this conversation so many times since I've been in spearfishing, especially by a particular set of people that are always counter and jumping the fence on what side they're going to be on. But when you got something like a lobster or a big fish, specifically lobsters, they can kill and destroy the habitats for the smaller lobsters. So yes, they might be what's called the big breeder. But in my mind, it's like, well, if that big lobster has got her turf, she's not letting anything get near her turf, and she will happily destroy and kill to protect. Absolutely fine. But if I come across her, she's in my belly. Like, absolutely. As long as she's not buried. Again, buried, if it's a proven female or notched even, if it's a proven breeder, then no. But if she is 3 years older and the V-notch is out the way and she's still not buried, who's to say she can still even breed? But she can still kill.
I think there's morals behind everything that we do.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, all right, it might be legal, and yeah, you're gonna eat it, but like morally, is it right? That's where everyone sits on the fence.
Yeah, right. Is there anything that you would like specifically draw the line at? Like that?
Well, I didn't want to shoot wrasse. I mean,
Same.
When we were in Thilston, so me and Anthony were like side by side almost, and he swam right over this wrasse that was just lying in the sand by the kelp, and it must be the biggest wrasse I think I've ever seen spearfishing. And I didn't tell him about it because I thought, I'll just leave it, like let it be. Don't, whatever. Like, he's shot enough wrasse in his lifetime, and then obviously that night we ate the wrasse ceviche, and actually I was thinking about this afterwards. I was like, if I knew how good that wrasse ceviche was, yes, I probably would have shot that fish because it's legal and I'm going to eat it.
Again, I think this all stems back down to the conversation, and not to get serious because we're talking about holidays and shit now, but the conversations of what spearfishing is against the population of any fish. Yes, it is killing fish. No, it is not the most sustainable practice, because the most sustainable practice would be kill all humans. However, if I'm going to take 3 wrasse and it fed, how many of us were there? 10, 12?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah. I mean, it was two really, really big wrasse and 1 medium-ish size wrasse. And it was absolutely devoured. Anything that anybody else didn't eat, I sat in the corner by myself with a couple of
fish. There wasn't much left, was there? Let's be honest.
No.
Me and Davo sat in the corner, like quietly chowing away, thinking, "This is all right, but let's not tell him."
But no, I just think with all fish, when it comes to the fish that you were shooting in Oz, and then the fish that I'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah,
I think for the UK waters, what we do as spearfishermen is extremely selective and extremely sustainable. If you were to squash and quash all commercial fishing, and I'm not saying to do it, I'm just saying if you were to quash all commercial fishing and just leave spearfishing, the sea would get back to a fruitful amazingness in a matter of a couple of years.
That's assuming, though, that there weren't more spearfishers because you couldn't go netting.
Even if I personally believe, even if there was 100,000 spearfishers in the UK, considering how often, I mean, you look at this year, how often locally can we go spearfishing?
Yeah, I mean, like East Devon is pretty terrible, but I don't know, mate. I think like everything has an impact, right? And spearfishing, when done like mindfully, can be the most sustainable way to spearfish, because in theory there is no bycatch. Although, let's face it, we've all had fish rip off, and that blue spot tuskfish is an excellent example of a fish ripping off. That tuskfish probably didn't live. I hope my shot was bad enough for it to live, but it probably didn't.
But it certainly wasn't wasted.
Well, no, because sharks could have been all over.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. I mean, it's not like it was taken out and then thrown in a bin. No. You made a mistake during a sport, and if you were to use that as your analogy, and we go over to commercials, the bycatch and the way that things are caught, killed, and then processed, like spearfishing, you can't put any tar on spearfishing at all. And I don't care who you are.
This conversation has got very serious, considering
it's your fault, Rich.
Yeah. Well, let's keep going down that line then. Sharks. So I saw quite a few sharks actually diving out in off of Brisbane. It was the first time diving with sharks, and it was scary, but also absolutely fine. Like, you could tell they were chilled out, not really interested. Well, just slightly inquisitive, but not really that bothered. But sharks out there, I certainly haven't heard about it out, closer to home, but out there, to the spearfishermen, they would argue that their numbers have skyrocketed to the point where they're a real problem and a pest, I guess. Should we spear sharks?
100%. Personally, I think, yeah. Again, it has to be backed by the numbers from, the same people that run the IFCAs, the people that have put in things like our bass quotas and stuff, the fishing quotas. But if there is something there that says, yeah, these white-tip sharks are absolutely nearly worse than lionfish, 100% shark is really good. It's really good food to eat, really good meat. And if it's going to help balance out, then absolutely, same as killing the lionfish.
Do you know what? I 100% agree. To me, protein is protein. And that might sound a little bit cold and, uncaring, but
I haven't tried turtle yet.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's anything that makes a shark special. And I get, people's argument that they are what do they call them? Like the vultures?
Apex predator.
Anyway, whatever they, people would say. I get what they're saying. They're important to the reef, but so is pretty much every other species, right? Everybody has a part to play in that food chain. And protein's protein. If you're going to eat it, we don't complain about people eating pigs or cows, and they're pretty intelligent things.
I don't know whether you guys watch documentaries on YouTube much, or have you seen that best food reviews with Sonny?
No.
Get on there. Sonny is a traveler that has been, he's huge on YouTube, millions and millions of followers. But he does these food review shows where he goes all around the world and eats what the local eat, and goes into all these markets and stuff, and he does them literally all over the world. So we'll go into like the dark depths and savannas of Africa and eat monkeys. And then he'll go into like Thailand and eat all the bugs. But he did one where he went to, I want to say Norway, or maybe Finland, or it was one of the islands. I can't remember. No, I think it wasn't the
Faroe Islands.
Faroe Islands, and they do the pilot whales, and the pilot whales that come in and they have that yearly or every other year cull whenever they decide to stray.
The grind.
Yeah. But they freeze all the meat. Everybody gets their fair share. It is something that's been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Yeah. And the scientists or the scientific papers that have been done on it, they don't go out and bring the pods in. They just catch a pod that may have wandered into their sort of island territory, and it's like not even 0.001% of the population of pilot whales. It has absolutely no impact on their numbers whatsoever, and that has been proven by the likes of like Greenpeace. Absolutely do it.
Yeah, I think I agree, mate. People are funny about taking octopus as well, aren't they, after watching the Netflix documentary?
We haven't tried it.
I still haven't made my mind up on this one, because
interesting.
I love I love octopus, and I'll definitely shoot one.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But what I mean is, you see so many conflicting things on social media in the UK where people say that they're invasive, and on the other hand, they're not invasive. They've been here for bloody years. So what is it? Are they invasive or not?
We have confused. Native octopuses. Octopuses.
But I've heard multiple people say. I've heard multiple people say that they are invasive. So where the hell?
I think there's invasive species of octopus where we've got, say, for example, like our native fish in lakes. You'll have a native octopus that is a certain size, and then you've got an invasive octopus that is considerably bigger that ends up killing the local native octopus.
I don't think that's what's happening in this country right now. I could be wrong. I'm definitely not a scientist. And I'd be really interested. Yeah, if any of our listeners know exactly what's going on, whether there is a foreign species that is invading our waters. But certainly like last year, and indeed the start of this year, there's been a lot of octopi around. I need to look that up.
It's not octopi. I just wanted you to say it. I love that you trust me.
Yeah, I don't know why. And there's been a lot more than in previous years. And if you look at the records in history, there has been previous surges. I don't know what it might be something as simple as like, when there's a lot of rain or very little rain and it makes the breeding conditions good for a particular year or two. So I'm sure there's some kind of natural features behind it, but yeah, as you say,
it's probably quite similar to how like the whole rabbit breeding goes, because you get rabbit cycles. Every 5 years, rabbits breed really, really well. And then they start, and it's just supply and demand effectively, where they then eat everything locally and then they start dying off because they've raped and pillaged. And then they start declining in numbers until then the food that they're eating increases. And I think that's probably similar with octopuses, where you have 1 year where they smash everything, eat everything, and then breed a lot. But then it takes a couple of years for them to catch up, because octopuses only live for like 2 years, don't they?
Yeah, sounds about right. But if anybody that is listening,
we're chatting shit. We haven't
is an expert. Please, send us a voice recording or come on the podcast, because we'd love to find out a little bit more about it and the science behind it. We love a bit of science, although clearly we're useless at it.
But yeah, no, that best reviewed show, Sunny, is really, really good.
Cool.
And the more recent stuff is even better, because he's getting it used to be quite clickbaity. But now it's quite serious, and it's got lots of information there. But yeah.
What are just staying on the conservation side of things, I said to you I went and did some freediving. I went out to a place called Julian Rocks. And I think they call it a green zone out there, but basically it's a marine reserve, somewhere where you're not allowed to fish at all. Doesn't matter whether it's spearfishing, lining, whatever. There is no fishing at all within, I don't know what it is. It's an area. And the life there was incredible. We saw like leopard sharks everywhere, fish, like incredible numbers of fish, groupers. It was just like completely unexpectedly amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was left alone. But I have to say, not quite as amazing as some of those places I went with Tim, but I think, that was kind of a different kind of thing. This was a little bit more touristy, but the numbers of fish there was incredible. What are your thoughts about setting up marine parks in the UK?
We've already got them. They're called marine conservation zones.
No, they don't
not apply any fucking rules at all.
Exactly. Except the one I know of, which I might be incorrect, so don't quote me on this, but Lundy Island, I believe, is a no fishing zone.
Yeah, I think that they've set up they've increased the rules on a couple recently. I can't remember the details, but I was reading it the other day, and it sounded like they were stopping. It might have even been all fishing, but yeah, I don't know if I'd be too happy if, for example, East Devon were made into a marine park where I couldn't go spearfishing.
Well, when I went down to Porthkerris last summer with Rachel on a little weekend away with some other Go Freediving guys on a freediving trip. And I took my spearfishing gear, and that weekend we had the Meadfoot Comp. And at Porthkerris, it's scuba only and freedivers. No spearfishing from the beach, because it's a privately owned beach. And when I went out there with Rachel and a few of the others, the fish there, considering it's a known area that you're not allowed to spearfish other than if you were to get in from boat. And even then they frown upon it and they have a go at you and give you crosswords. The fish there did not care that I was there. And as I've got GoPro footage of me going underwater with no gun, but my hands pointed like 007 guns and pretending to shoot these fish. They didn't care. And I was swimming with them. And there was mullet, bass, pollock, and they were just like absolutely fine with me being there.
Yeah, it's pretty magical. Do you think you'd find that's not just about the no fishing rules, is it, though? That's just about somewhere being remote where not many people go, right?
No, because there's people there all the time. I just think that the fish that are there, I don't know whether it's that they kind of stay local, because, again, a lot of them are mullet, and they don't migrate, but that they weren't like the fish in any of the other waters that we get in, aka as soon as you see a fish and you go down, normally pollock are the stupid ones that that stay quite close, but the bass are really cautious unless they're in a huge shoal. these guys, there was like 4 or 5 bass. I swam down in amongst the kelp and they just came straight up to me. They're like, "Oh, hello, how you doing? Welcome to this freediving." And it's just like, they just did not care. So I feel as though it's like they knew that they weren't at risk. It was just really odd.
Yeah.
But yeah,
interesting.
Again.
Yeah. Sorry, I've digressed completely.
Yeah. I think going back to what you're saying, marine conservation areas, absolutely, they are a thing that we should absolutely have, even if we have them similar to like a zebra crossing where there's 5 miles on, 5 miles off, 5 miles on, 5 miles off. The commercial fishing lot will not let that happen ever.
Mm.
They're not going to. They're the mafia. It's not going to happen.
Just in case anybody is interested, there's 3 highly protected marine areas right now. That's Allenby Bay, Irish Sea, Dolphin Head in the English Channel, and northeast of Farnes Deep. So those are like deeper areas, I guess, rather than any inshore areas. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I think I've also seen, I think it was West Bay or Westbury.
So
Wembury.
Supposedly 40% of the seas around the UK are protected in some way, but I'm pretty sure 39% of those don't ban fishing. So yeah, Wembury, I think is that a voluntary thing as well?
Yeah, I've seen the signs up and it says, no fishing, no spearfishing. But yeah, the IFCA have confirmed that there is nothing legal in place there. It's a please don't kind of thing.
Yeah, which, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a private haven beach. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Cool. Anyway, I will stop hogging the mic and pass over to you, Anthony, because I want to find about your holiday to Tenerife. We've already found about your baggage. Let's get into some more exciting stuff.
I was just going to say, if you got 2 hours,
you need 3.
Mate, tell us what your octopus was first up, right?
Yeah, so me and Rachel went out for 8 days, left from Gatwick. Again, we could have left from Bristol, but she thought, well, yeah, but the flights are cheaper from Gatwick, not taking into account the 3.5-hour drive each way and the fact that we need to put the car into car parking. But anyway, so yeah, left on whenever it was, a Sunday, and we came back on the Monday. Absolutely. I mean, the Canary Islands are gorgeous. I've been out there already. And that's where I did my training course, just down the road from where we stayed in Tobago with the Go Freediving lot. Stunning island. The waters are, just the same as Australia, like you were saying. Anywhere from 20 to 50 meters viz, just blue all around you. Volcanic island. So it's very sort of porous rock. With lots of sand, but a lot of it's been imported. And yeah, we didn't see much black sand until the last day. We went on to the very north of the island. But yeah, caught my first ever octopus. So that was day we were going. Oh no, we went south the day before and booked a boat trip out on the Freebird 1, which is a massive gold catamaran style sailboat, absolutely huge, worth at least 3.5 million, if not more. And went out on that. Went and
with an organised tour, or just
it was just one of those things where you pay €42 and you get to go on a boat and they take you out to go and see dolphins and was it short-nosed pilot whales, short-finned pilot whales, one of the two. And so we went out. It's about 4 or 5 miles off of shore, with a load of other tourists, and went and saw the pilot whales, and then came back in. You were allowed to jump in for a minute at this other place that they came in, this little cove at about 12 meters, and it's the first time. So we jumped in. I jumped in. Rachel stayed on the boat because it was quite windy, and jumped in what looked like 5 or 6 meters to the bottom. It wasn't. It was 12 to 13. But I had only a pair of shorts, no fins, no snorkel, no weights or anything. And so I started swimming down to touch the bottom, and my watch went off and pinged at 10 meters and absolutely scared the shit out of me, because I looked at my watch and went, why am I this deep with no fins, no suit? I'm not in my free diving environment. Like shit, get straight back up to the surface, have a fucking panic attack. And then the guy that was sort of watching over us on the back said, "Oh, you're a free diver. Go get some sand." I was like, oh shit. Now I actually have to touch the bottom, absolutely bricking it, but did the breathe up, went out to the bottom, got some sand and brought it back. And he said, "Hooray, well done. You're a very big boy."
Little did he know.
Yeah, exactly. I was wearing shorts. He saw how small I was. Yeah, then got on back on the boat, and I was sort of scouting for spearfishing area. And luckily, when we went back in, the local town had a spearfishing shop that was closed. But I went and knocked on the door, tried to ring the bell, and there was no one there. Saw the telephone number, rang him, rang the shop like 3 times, had no answer. I thought, oh, that would have been really good. But anyway, so then we stumbled off, and like 20 minutes later, I get a message on WhatsApp from the number that I'd been ringing, Stater Spearfishing, and Biagio. And so anyway, I get a message from him saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm really, really busy. What's up? How can I help?" And I said, "Well, I want to go spearfishing." He said, "Okay. Have you got your license?" Which is another escapade I'll talk about in a sec. I said, yeah, I got my license. I brought all my gear. Don't need anything. Just need a guide. And he said, "Okay, well, have you got your guns?" I said, yeah, I've got my guns. I brought my 75, didn't I? And my 85 roller. That's the worst gun on earth. And he was like, "Oh, okay, well, send me photos tonight and we'll have a look at your guns and then we'll talk about going out on Sunday." And so anyway, then the following day I was like, right, well, I sent in the photos of the guns. Me and Rachel want to get to the beach. I want to go out spearfishing. But I only had my smooth skin top and my bottoms, which are both 7 mil in 22 degrees water. So absolutely cooking my tits off. I'd taken my bottoms off before I got in on the Thursday or Friday and taking my bottoms off. So I'm just in my top, taking my 85 roller again, which is absolute shite, and go swimming around for 3 hours. Anyway, first half an hour, as I'm starting to swim out, really strong current, about 3 knots, I get this immediate pain on my inner thigh, feeling like 3rd-degree burns, fucking agony. Anyway, look up, Portuguese man of war stuck to my face with its tentacles wrapped around the inside of my thigh, and just absolutely shitting myself.
Nice.
So yeah, grabbed the tentacles, pulled it off, tried to wipe all the little blue stingers off the inside of my thigh, and then just manned up and carried on for the next 2.5 hours, of which I stumbled upon a rock and saw an octopus just peeking at the top of this rock. Managed to get a shot straight into it, and before it could go under the rock, managed to grab its head, but then didn't realize how strong, because this is my first ever octopus, how strong their suckers are on your arm. And this octopus was not letting go of this fucking rock. And I'm down at only about 9-10 meters, but fighting this octopus. I've dropped my gun now and fighting this octopus to either let go of the rock or let go of my arm. And I'm, quite a strong bloke. Doesn't matter how hard I was pulling, I wasn't either tearing his tentacles off or getting him off the rock. And so I ended up having to just yank my arm clean out of him, go to the surface, grab another breath of air and get back down. And by this time, he'd gone straight under the rock. And so I just had to manhandle the rock up and move the rock out of the way to get this fucking octopus. And then got back up and it was only a tiny little octopus. It's the photo that I've got of it. It doesn't do that story quite justice.
Was it tasty?
Absolutely. Yeah. Boiled it for an hour. So I took it back to the room. We had like an all.
No. You tenderized it first.
Oh yeah, don't forget.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then he tenderized it and marinated it.
It was very salty. No. So no, from watching all the YouTube stuff, I've heard that the best thing to do with octopus is like get it in as much water as possible and just keep squishing it so all the slime sort of comes out. And so I took it in the shower with me, of which my lovely partner Rachel took a sneaky photo that also may have included my my penis. So I had to edit that out, and it was absolutely. I mean, I only just about covered my penis when I edited it, as Rich can attest to.
That's definitely not what Rachel said.
Yeah, I was at the barbecue as well, mate. She definitely did not say that.
I think she said, "I wish," if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. But so yeah, boiled it for just over an hour, and then let it cool on the side, and then shallow fried it. Well, I didn't even shallow fry it. A little bit of olive oil, loads of salt and pepper, and just really hot flash fried it, and then had that. And it was amazing.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Put a little cuttlefish at the same time, so that went in with the octopus. But the cuttle was, he was just a small cuttlefish. It wasn't anything to write home about. And then, so that afternoon before I got out, so when I caught the octopus, I met Biagio. He came down, he was going out for a dive in the evening. Rachel had already been sat on the rocks reading her book for 3.5 hours, so she wasn't staying out any longer. So we had to go. But really good to meet him. And then he sort of had a look at my guns, absolutely laughed his tits off at my guns. And he said, not a fucking chance.
What's these pea shooters you put in?
Not only that, he actually, so it wasn't just I've now figured out exactly what's wrong with that 85 roller. Absolutely, the gun is just totally fucked. So I didn't know that the front rollers on your, the reason why it's called a roller gun is because the front rollers are meant to roll. Well, the two front parts that hold those rollers on are completely bent. Like the rollers have never rolled. So I think that was probably one of the problems that we had in Scotland.
Right.
But yeah, he was just like, no, absolutely not. I'll bring one of my guns. And so I ended up using his gun on the trip that I went with him. So yeah, he went out and caught a couple of wahoo, only a small wahoo. But then I said, right, well, we'll meet you on Sunday. We'll go out for a dive in the morning. And so we went to one of his spots, got out of the car, used one of his guns, got in the sea and swam, for an hour solidly and didn't move at all. We went out probably 500 meters and were just constantly swimming against the tide and the current. And we were effectively getting pushed backwards. It was that much current. And when he said it was ready, he's got like a bit of Christmas tree tinsel, big fat tinsel on a weight. And he dropped it down to 12 meters, 10 or 12 meters. And then we just kept swimming and kept swimming and kept swimming until sort of like 25 minutes pass. And he shouts over and goes, wahoo! I'm like, I'm looking down going, there is no fucking wahoo. What's he on about? I look at him and go, where? And he points up to the surface, like 10 meters away from us. 3 fucking great wahoo. I've never seen anything so big in my life, not even my penis. And it was just like, I was just absolutely dumbstruck, turned over, and he said, no, wait. And so, sorry, before we got out there, we went down to 10, 12 meters and got a, he called them parrotfish, but they're like our Ballon wrasse, about 6 inches long, but they're bright red and yellow. And he'd scaled it and sort of cut a few bits in it. And he said, wait. He threw the fish. And as the fish landed, all 3, so they were sort of side onto us and you could see their zebra tripes, these wahoo, about 20 to 25, 30 kilos, big fish, because they were, and I know this because they were bigger than the light shot. And as this parrotfish hit the top of the water, all 3 of them immediately turned absolutely bang on this fish that he's just throwing, this parrotfish. And they start coming over. And again, probably 10, 15 meters away from us. So we start slowly swimming towards them. I duck dive down to about 5 meters to stabilize the shot. And this fish just comes straight up to me, like as if to sort of say, oh, have you seen this parrotfish over here? Come have a look. So bang, absolutely perfect shot. Just literally kissed his gill plate just into the back of the flesh, straight through his spine, and bang, off this fish goes. And I've never seen something disappear in crystal clear water so fast. And next thing I know, so the rig that they've got set up out there, I don't know if it's the same for you, Ben, where the spear and your line isn't connected to your gun. So you rig up, but the line is connected directly to your float and some bungee. And then that float is connected to another float so that they don't get sucked underwater. But as you shoot the fish, you basically, you don't drop your gun, but your gun is attached to your wrist, and your gun is then no longer your point of interest. Your point of interest is entirely the fish, the line, and the floats, and trying to make sure it doesn't go too tight. Anyway, this fish has gone off. Feel the line go taut. I start swimming with the line, and about 3 seconds later, I just feel the line go slack. I'm like, oh, fucking the spears come out. And so I said to turn to Biagio, I was like, the spears come out. He said, what? I said, the spears come out, and started reeling the line in. Anyway, get close to the end of the line. I can't feel the spear. And I'm like, no, this line's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. The spear hadn't come out. The line, the mono, had snapped at the connection on the spear. And he said it was at the end of the day, we spoke about it. He said, yeah, he should have replaced that line because he only replaced it 4 weeks ago. So,
oh, jeez.
It had frayed.
Absolutely gutting.
Yeah. And so it left the spear in the fish. And again, like you were saying earlier on with that tusk fish that tore off, that wahoo would have been eaten within a couple of hours by sharks and stuff if it didn't survive. But yeah, lost a 60 quid spear. It's about, a bit harsh because these are like 120, 130 guns. And so anyway, demoralized, and obviously one gun without a spear. We've only got his gun left, which is his personal blue custom, really stupidly light wooden, similar like you were saying earlier on, Rife type guns. And so he gave me that one. We're like, are we going to find any more wahoo? Because we just found those in 25 minutes. So anyway, we carried on swimming, still going backwards in 3-4 knot current. And just hour and 25 minutes go past, still nothing. And just in the darkness directly below me, and this would have been probably 30, 35 meters deep, I just see this glimmer underneath the flasher. I was like, I couldn't figure out if I was being seasick or whether it was fish. Anyway, it started coming closer up, and it was the wahoo. So I said to Biagio, I said, oi, because he hadn't spotted it this time. And so I said, wahoo, wahoo, wahoo. And he said, right, calm. Just stay still. And we still had that parrotfish. And so he threw the parrotfish. He came, and the wahoo came straight up, kissed, or effectively like nosed touched the flasher, then saw the parrotfish and just swam straight for the parrotfish. And I was positioned really well just behind the parrotfish as this wahoo was coming up. The wahoo came to the parrotfish, smelt it, and then turned, looked at me and swam directly at me, at which point in the video that I've got, it looks like I poked the fish in the eye with my spear. It was that close, or what looked like that close. And anyway, got the shot off. I spent another 25 minutes then chasing after this fish, making sure that we weren't going to lose it by the line snapping, or, just trying to keep the tension off of the line. And then finally sort of got my hands in its gills, at which point Biagio's got his knife and nearly did a Tony Sykes on me, because he's just immediately gone and shoved this fucking knife into the wahoo's head, and my hands are in there. I'm going, shit, no, not Tony Sykes. I'm not losing my fucking finger. So I'm holding this fish, I'm just trying to brain it. And I said, no, I'll do it. So I took the knife off him. I finished off the fish. And then we were really, really ecstatic, high-fiving, fist bumping. And we were like, right, we've got to get all these guns sorted and get back in before the sharks come. And so anyway, he said, oh, no, it's good fish. It's small, but it's good fish. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is the biggest fucking fish I've ever seen, but cool. Fair enough. So we start swimming back in. Took us about 45 minutes, an hour to get back in. And we were getting out from some steps. And he got out first while I was holding the fish in the floats. And I passed him the fish. And his face as I passed him the fish, and he got it in his hands for the first time, was like, oh, no, this is not small fish. This is medium fish. This is good fish. And then there's a photo of me holding the fish with Biagio stood next to me, and with the fish in my hands, it looks like a decent fish. It's the same size as Biagio. So it was 14 kilos, so nothing huge, but 14 kilos or 31 pounds. And yeah, just a fucking amazing memory.
Really, mate.
And Biagio at Stater Spearfishing in Tenerife, thank you so much for taking me. And I know we've spoken since then, and 100%. I've got 3 years left on my dive ticket in the Canary Islands, and yeah, I'll be coming out there at least once a year, if not a couple of times.
Was it easy to get the license then?
Fucking no. Oh my God. So, for the Canary Islands, you need a Canarian Spearfishing Level 2 license or Tier 2 license, for which you need to, first of all, have booked an appointment with the local municipal, which is their local council hall. You need to have got the form off of them, then go and have a medical done for a medical certificate or certificate of medical, so that you are passed to be fit and healthy for that sport. And I'll get onto that in a sec. What the doctor said in a sec. And then you need to go back to another appointment with the municipal for them to look at your medical certificate. Then they give you, considering this is so went first time at the municipal, which is in the north where we were close to us. They definitely spoke English, but refused to because we are tourists. So no English whatsoever. So I'm on Google with my translations, trying to translate everything into Spanish. I'm sorry, Tenerife. Next time we're going to learn Spanish so that we can actually, do you guys justice. So yeah, we found out we need the medical from this local doctor's, of which when you turn up, you need to pay 30 euros for the doctor and 3 euros for the certificate. That medical includes, first of all, your blood pressures, then a listen to your lungs, and then an echocardiogram to make sure that you're not pregnant as a man, which the doctor found hilarious, by the way. First time, he was a really, really plain, quite normal man, obviously a doctory type, no sense of humor whatsoever, absolutely wetting himself because I said that I was making sure that I'm not pregnant. But anyway, in Tenerife or in the Canary Islands and in Spain, for your spearfishing license or any other kind of license, so driver's license or whatever, you need this certificate for medical. So I passed it, and the doctor said at the end, "You are perfecto," which I am perfecto medically. Anybody else that says otherwise can fuck off. So yeah, got the certificate. Sorry, I'm going on. Go back, and got a certificate at 1 o'clock. Go back to the municipal at about 1:45. The very, very not happy Spanish man then took me in for the appointment and said, "Okay, here is your license. You need to go and pay for this." So you then need to go and pay for your spearfishing license on top of the 33 euros, which is 24 euros and 63 cents, of which you can only do at a bank. You cannot do it in the municipal. So it's now 5 minutes to 2. The banks close at 2 o'clock. So yeah, thanks Spain. They're going on their siesta at 2 o'clock, and then they don't open again until the following morning at 7 or whatever. Luckily, 3 doors down from our apartment, we had a bank. So the following morning at 7:30, I was stood outside the bank waiting for them to open the doors. Went inside, spoke to, again, another, you could tell he speaks English man, but wasn't wanting to, so didn't understand and wasn't being very assistive. And he said, no. You can only pay for these on a Tuesday and Thursday between 8 and 10 a.m. and you need to bring cash. And I was like, nah, fuck this. No, I'm not fucking having it. I have a Santander debit card. I am a local. So ended up saying, look, Santander credit card, it's fine. And he went, oh, well, let's go to the cash machine then, in like damn near perfect English. I'm like, what the fuck? And so anyway, you go to this ATM style cash machine, scan the barcode on your municipal license paperwork, insert your debit card and pay for it. Then you get a receipt, which you then need to take back to the municipal. to prove that you've paid for it so that they can then print out your license. Anyway, at this stage, this is now 10:30 the following morning. I walked back into the municipal, and Mr. Very Happy non-English speaking Spanish man had the biggest grin on his face. And I can only figure out that it's because he didn't think I was going to go through with anything. So he was like, oh, actually, he did do it. Fucking idiot. But yeah, so you need that and you need insurance. So you need insurance in the Canary Islands to be able to own and use any form of firearm, of which a spear gun is. Luckily, the BSA insurance is covering of that. So as long as you are a BSA member, you don't need the additional insurance for a gun in the Canary Islands. So yeah,
good to know.
And then Biagio, so you get matched the fish. So we took a load of photos. And the deal with Biagio on your first trip out with him, and how he's absolutely phenomenal guy. He was completely transparent. He charged me €50 for the 3 or 4 hours, which is just amazing in and itself. He then gives you a part of the fish. We got along really well, so he gave me way more than he should have, including the head and the tail, which we'll talk about in a minute. But he gave me about 4 kilos of fish, of which I took home and absolutely demolished. And he then takes the rest and sells it on, to his local fishmonger guys, so that he can make some money out of it. Because Biagio is actually vegan, although I did force him to try some sashimi. So yeah, again, there's a conversation to get into. A vegan spearfisher.
Oh, bizarre.
He still eats fish. Really, really nice guy, but he loves the sport.
So he's not vegan then?
No, he's vegan.
I don't think you can be vegan if you eat fish, right?
Well, he has a McDonald's every now and then, but it doesn't really. No, he's vegan, and I think the only reason that he had that fish then was because he didn't want to be rude.
Right.
Yeah. And also Biagio, he's not local Tenerife. He lives in Tenerife and he is now local, but he's Italian. So, but the way that he got us onto the Wahoo, and since I've been watching him on social media, he gets Wahoo every day. So Tenerife, there's Wahoo in all the time, and Biagio knows where to go. So Stater spearfishing,
awesome.
If you want to trip out there.
What kind of sharks do they go on Tenerife then?
Hammerheads and Spanish ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what the other sharks are, but I don't think the hammerheads are the ones that he was worried about. I think it was just grey sharks. What
are you gonna do with the head and tail then?
Oh yeah, so I brought the head and tail back. I don't know whether I mentioned this on this podcast because I've been talking about it so much on holiday. So Biagio gave me the head and tail. Yeah. Of which when I got back to the brim, so this was the Sunday afternoon, and we were leaving Monday.
I bet Rachel loved you.
Yeah. I didn't take it in the shower though. The teeth were too sharp. I was worried about damage. So yeah, triple bagged it, stuck it in my sports bag, and flew it home. And walked through the anything to declare and just smiled and waved. So yeah, don't recommend doing that because you probably get pulled. But yeah,
what is the rule on? Are you allowed to take 20 kilos like Norway, or is there?
You can, yeah, but you've got to declare it,
right?
And obviously, it would have to be packed in a
Do I need to cut this out of the final?
Oh no, absolutely not. Leave it in. I haven't broken any laws because they didn't catch me. I definitely didn't bring 1,000 fags back, but anyway. So I brought the head and the tail home. While I was out there, I was still frothing and still major adrenaline. So I was just thinking about with the head, I was going to boil it and take the jaw and put it on like a plaque, like you see some of the big monkfish or the tuna. But since I've looked at it like a week later, I'm looking at the head going, it's a bit small. It's fucking huge, but it's a bit small for a plaque. We need to shoot a shark and get that one. Yeah, but
get another one.
The tail, I'm going to cast in resin and make a resin block, and I'll keep the tail because that's cool. That's a cool tail. So yeah. But then we did like 1,200 miles in the rental car all around, and went all the way up the mountains and the volcano. And yeah, it was absolutely stunning island. But there's, I think, if not 4, I think there's 6 islands that you can get to out there that are all very similar. Absolutely stunning waters, all pelagic fish. And going back to what you were saying earlier on, with the trophy fish hunting, Biagio's biggest wahoo was 74 kilos.
Bloody hell.
Like, that thing's a fucking truck.
I really struggled to lift that 35 kilogram fish. I don't know if it was awkward, but like, you couldn't even lift that kind of thing.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, you only weigh 40 kilos.
I did laugh at that video of Ben, like, holding that fish up.
The video is actually much longer, and it's mostly me just like slipping and sliding over them, because obviously we didn't want to reveal any spots or whatever. So they got me on front of the boat, so the boat could keep moving like away from like the background.
Yeah.
So I'm like slipping and sliding all over the boat, like trying desperately to stand up to like hold this fish for a picture. Like complete knobber. But I could hardly like hold it up because they're so slippery and like loopy. Yeah.
But yeah, 74 kilos. I mean, that 14 kilo fish, the way that it pulled, and it pulled me, Biagio, the 2 sets of floats for a good 25 minutes, 74 kilos. I mean, I can't imagine what a blue or a yellowfin tuna would be like.
How did you find the bigger gun?
Oh, I've nearly ordered one. And I nearly ordered one for UK waters.
Yeah,
like
same.
Going back on Saturday when we went out and going back to my 75, it's so chintzy, and it just doesn't. Using his gun was like natural. It just felt like it was an extension of your arm. And even in the video, it looks like the fish is really close. It's just pinpoint accurate, and you can't feel it in the water at all. So yeah, 100% I'm going to get one. Absolutely.
What was it, like a roller pipe gun, wooden?
So it's a wooden roller. And again, talking about you earlier on with your loading. Yeah. So this one, and he's made them, you have to put the bungees. So underneath the gun, it's got adjustable bungee mounts.
Right.
And so you start with the bungees quite close to the front tip of the gun, like close to the rollers. And it's in this little notch. You've got a little steel bar that you put through, and then you load it. So you load it onto the first rung of the spear, then onto the very back of the spear. And then you turn the gun upside down using this steel bar that's through the underneath, and then latch it onto the second point and then the third point under the gun. And then you put the metal bar through again to lock it. And those bands, I mean, they're obviously, he's done it absolutely perfectly. But for me, it was easier because of how long my arms are. Watching him try to load the gun, it was like a 10-minute escapade. Absolutely hilarious to watch. But once it's loaded, it's just like a laser. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, awesome. I was very tempted to bring one of those nice Rife Euro guns home. They're much cheaper out there as well. And the Dive fins are like half the price they are.
Oh, well. Yeah. You went over to some of the shops to get wetsuit, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought a 3mm actually. And I tell you what, the difference between a 5mm and a 3mm is, well, it's just night and day. I don't feel... It's not quite the same as like a surf suit either. So I guess a lot of us in this country will have worn like a 3 or 4mm surf suit. Not that I do a lot of surfing. But the 3mm like spearfishing suit is just so like freeing, and like diving down, you don't feel the pressure in the same way, and you're much freer. Like your movements are much more straightforward. Like I went down to like 19 meters, which is several meters deeper than I've ever done before, and it didn't feel like anything. And I think I did, I don't know, it was a minute 15 or something like that, minute 20, and you're just much more relaxed because you've not got this thing like properly hugging you. Like I struggled a little bit this weekend in the Southamptons with the 7mm because they're so like restrictive of your chest, and when you're trying to pack in the air and dive down, and then that's pushing against it on top of the 7mm. Like it's really different. So, oh god, yeah, I wish I was diving back there in a 3mm wetsuit. And the stuff's quite reasonable out there as well. I was really surprised. Like I said about those Rife guns, I went into. I was really, really close to getting one. They do like a travel one as well that you can kind of like connect together, a bit like we had the Monk spearfishing on, didn't we? A few episodes ago. He's got some out, not totally dissimilar to this, but they look amazing. I think he's actually opening up for sale soon, isn't he? But like they connect together. So you have a spear that kind of screws together, and you have a wooden block that then kind of connects together as well. Yeah, it was like half the price of what we have to pay over here. Interestingly, though, like I've got a couple of Pathos guns, and they were twice the price over there. So I think it's just like where the stuff is made, possibly.
Yeah,
lots of middlemen making money.
Yeah,
but what shop was it that you went to?
Oh, it was a Dreno, like I was saying at the start. Like,
right, okay,
you wouldn't want to go anywhere else, mate. That place is huge. They've got so many. They've got like all the good wetsuits, and they've also got like these like old wetsuits that must have been in there varying numbers of years. But some of that stuff in there is like well old, and they're selling them off for like $10 or $20 because they've got bits missing and stuff. I wish we had a shop that was like that kind of thing where you've got everything from like the really cheap stuff that you need to mend to make good, all the way up to the. I mean, they had a Rife, but it must have been like. Do you get guns that are 2 meters? It looked like it was about 2 meters. Like this thing was absolutely huge, 6 bands on it, and and everything in between. I mean, we've got some really good spearfishing shops down here, right? But this place was incredible. Just like my jaw dropped as I walked in the door. My little boy loved it as well. I took him shopping, bought him a little wetsuit from there, and that was pretty cool. He actually learned to do some snorkeling out there because we had a swimming pool in the Airbnb. We stayed a couple of times. Yeah, he's learned to snorkel. He loves diving down now. Won't be too long before I'm taking the boy out. He had his swimming lessons today, and you could tell that the swimming teacher was getting really frustrated because he kept just diving down to the bottom of the pool and just like hanging down there.
I don't want to do your stupid swimming on the fucking dolphin.
Exactly. Yeah. Bless him.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Really cool.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, Rich, you need to go on holiday. When are you going to go to the, what's your favourite place?
Oh, the Azores.
The Azores.
Yeah, tell me about it, mate. Feel like I need one. No, it's all starting to kick off now, isn't it? So we'll get some good fish this summer, man.
Well, I'm sure we're going to have lots of catch and cooks and stuff this year.
I was thinking we should have a bit of a competition, just the three of us. You know how we did a little bit last year with the start point?
Oh, here we go again.
I was just thinking it might be, I don't know, it might be quite nice if we just invent our own rules and I don't know what the prize should be. Maybe we just all chip in a tenner or something. Can we bet like this in a public forum? Probably not. Yeah, but maybe it's just for the glory, as you said, Rich. Although you kept quiet about that after not winning the competition this week.
Well, I kept quiet about it because I didn't.
Rachel said she watched him get out and he purposely avoided everybody else. He was sulking the whole way up the beach. And then when we get out, it's like, yeah, where's Rich? Oh, no, he left. He was miserable.
Didn't speak.
He's just gone.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have any fish? Nope.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I'm not coming down to Devon anymore.
I was going to say earlier on, and sorry, just before we get onto that, now that you can do like 16 meters, and I've got to say this quite specifically because my local spot that I'm not allowed to talk about, the Galicia, the one in Teignmouth, the one that is a really good spot that I caught my first pollock on that really pissed two specific people off. I'm just hoping that they're listening.
Are you want me to beat this out again? Or?
Oh no, absolutely not. Please, this is staying in, and there's special reasons why. But the Galicia is only 14 meters.
I thought it was like 17. I don't know.
17 to the very bottom,
right?
To the top, sort of jut outs. Sort of the top of the wreck is 14 meters, and that's where I caught my pollock.
I think that 16 meters in this country in totally 3 meters viz is going to be a little bit different. Not only is the viz literally 10 times better out there, the temperature of the water out there was 26 degrees.
Yeah, it was 21 in Tenerife. Yeah.
So,
well,
but I'm well up for it.
After we go diving at David Meadow on the 16th, you lads will be diving like bloody fish.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's gonna be
and
epic.
Also, with what Tony was saying last week, while I was out in Tenerife, when you're that far offshore and the viz is so clear, I got quite seasick because you just got no reference for anything.
Yeah,
it's just really quite disorientating. But sorry, competition between us. Am I allowed in it? Because I mean, we all know that I'm going to win.
Just like the last one, yeah.
Yeah, it depends if did Ras count at the weekend? I'm not sure this year.
hold on. Are we counting fish you already got?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've got one.
No, that's fine. What do you think is, even if we don't do it, let's talk it through. What's the ideal format? Is it a species competition or is it like?
Oh, mate, do you know how much time we spent on that species comp, didn't we, last year?
I know. I think we need to simplify it. So I reckon the only way to really simplify that is we don't do like measuring and stuff. Obviously, shoot legal fish. Take a picture, send it into WhatsApp, and that's your fish off the list.
Just within us.
Yeah, just us three.
Oh yeah, I am not going through hundreds of submissions from everybody.
Yeah. Are you offering to adjudicate? Are you?
I have not got the time, nor patience, nor will for that. So that's not happening.
So the Spiro Hangout's going to have a species comp. It's going to be adjudicated by Richard. Please send all of your submissions to richard@thespirohangout.com.
It's fucking
definitely thinking just us three. I thought it might be a little bit of fun to have a little bit of a competition between the three of us, just like we did last year. Really,
see how we get on at the end of each episode.
Yeah. So, what's on your list? So, should we stick the normal stuff on there? We'll have bass. We'll have pollock. We'll have.
So we are going species then, are we?
Yeah, we're not.
Well, just count them up at the end of the year. See who's got the most.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, I spent so much time on that species. I'm hunting different species last year.
That was fun though.
Yeah, but we're not doing this for any. We're not doing it for seriousness. We're doing it between.
Yeah, but the bragging rights are worth more than the vouchers I've bloody got.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
What are the banned species? Wrasse, obviously.
No.
Why don't we just copy the format from last year then, and then we can just run with that?
I don't know if Barclay would allow us to.
What? What do you mean? We've got the list already.
Copyright.
No, we've got the list.
I thought it was a United Spearfishing one anyway.
Yeah. We've got the list. We've got the list, and it's just between us three. It's not an open competition.
All right, can we just do one fish of each species then?
Just
biggest one.
Just one.
Yeah.
And then Haley's got to make us a plaque.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And whoever gets the most species wins.
Yeah.
Most species? No, because you're just going to go straight off to your fucking boyfriend and he's going to take you over to all the places to get all your stupid bream and shit.
You've got a boat though, Ant.
Yeah, but I don't know what bream looks like.
Yeah, I've never seen one in the water either.
Well, actually, Anthony, me and you could see my man. I'll take you out to get some bream, and then
you just want to use my boat, you little bitch.
we can, yeah, exactly. But we can get ahead of Ben.
Oh dear.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be funny.
Here it goes again. Oh mate, last year was bloody savage. Every time I went in, I'm really proud of myself. I got another species. Really happy with that. Ben bloody puts a picture up. Look what I just got. Fuck's sake.
You beat me again, mate. Yep.
Mate, my missus hated me last summer as well. Every night. Yeah, we do. I'm going spearfishing.
Yeah. No, I think with the BSA and stuff, we've got more than enough on that need to be competitive apart from with each other.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah, it's always the best fun anyway, to be fair, when we're competing against each other.
Yeah, I mean, if we ended up getting involved in something like that, it would only come to the last day and then Tony Sykes would pull out a lemon salt.
Well, here's the Soul King.
Love you, Tony. Cool.
Just don't put me and Anthony together when we go diving with David Mellor because we might drown each other.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are you going to be able to fit through the plane?
Oh, wow. Okay. we're going that low, are we?
I was just thinking that fucking.
I've lost weight, thank you very much.
Yeah, I know, but we'll have to lube you up for that door at the end because it's like I struggled to fucking fit through it. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we got Dave Miller, Bobster.
Yeah, man.
That's gonna be really good.
That one. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And then the other few things that we've got coming up, just so because this will probably go out next week, so there is things coming up. So 10th, 10th. Prep
11th?
boat. No. My calendar. 10th prep boat for Dorset National. So 11th of June, we've got the Dorset National, the BSA competition. I believe with that, Rich, it's pay and register on the day.
Yeah, just turn up with the exact cash because I'm not giving anyone change.
What, you don't take card?
I'll just keep it for myself. And so it's cash on the day, just register on the day, job done.
Nice. 16th, we got David Mellor, which is going to be great. And then going into next month, we've got on the 8th of July.
We got Lads Day planned on the 8th of July.
We do.
But we don't know what we did. Yeah, we got Lads Day.
Yeah. All I've got here is lads. Are we going to Cavos or Maga? No, 29th of July is the BSA National Budley. So that's the Budley, the second competition, but that is not run by a club. We're going to run that by the BSA, or sort of all effectively in-house.
You missed the LIC pairs competition on.
Oh shit, that's not in my diary.
15th of July.
Of course.
Well, I think it's the 15th. I haven't checked Facebook. Let me check that.
Who's going? What's the story?
I've got it on my Facebook. I haven't put it in my diary yet. Naughty man.
Yeah, I'd be keen.
But there's three of us. Who's got Buddy so far?
No, I don't know if Sugar Daddy wants me still.
Ben?
Yeah, mate, I'm keen. You can have me. I'm available.
Let's do it, man. And it's Dorset.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Where's the weigh-in and stuff?
Oh, I haven't looked properly yet, to be fair. But
Can you two be trusted with a boat?
Yeah, mate, we can look after your boat.
Of course we can, mate.
If you want it, it's there.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Because I'll probably end up if I am buddying with Dave. I need to confirm that because if I am buddying up with Dave, we'll take his boat.
Nice.
But my boat will be there if you want it. 15th, then 29th of July is Budley, and then the Cornish National is on the 30th of September.
Awesome.
So and then the other one that was the Southwest Wales, which is on the what is it? 18th or is it 17th? Saturday, 17th of June. Sorry, we're so all over the place. Still getting calendars sorted. 17th of June is the new Southwest Wales BSA club. They've got a pairs competition as well.
If anyone of our listeners in Wales, they should definitely check that club out. They look like they've done a bloody good job.
Oh, they're smashing it.
Their meetups look bloody epic as well.
They got a load of really good guys, and they look like they're killing it. They're obviously all frothing because it's all still, new club, new group and stuff. So loads of input, but definitely a club to look up to for all the events that they're throwing. But they had their first event the other day, didn't they? Or was it weekend? They had camping.
It looked really good. Yeah, man, food looked awesome.
And also, like I said before, the water in Wales, in Pembrokeshire, looked bloody amazing.
Yeah, it does look really good, man. We got a road trip this year. Yeah.
I'm going to be up there on the pairs comp. I'm just looking for a partner.
Yep.
So, yeah. But
I'm working that day, unfortunately. But sounds awesome, lads.
Awesome. Well, good to catch up. It's nice to have just us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And same time next week.
Same time next week, unless the visibility is
Unless
really
we're diving.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Nice one, man. All right.
Cool, lads.
You take it easy, lads. Nice to see you.
Awesome. Good to see you. See you soon.
Good night.
Night.